Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Stiles. I am the owner of Heyven, an online directory that. Hold on. Wrong words. Hello, everyone. My name is Marcus Stiles. I am the founder of Heyven, which is a virtual neighborhood for creators, businesses, and nonprofits. And today I am joined by Matthias, who is going to come and talk a little bit about his business, what he does, and why you should support him. Hi, how's it going?
Good. How are you, Marcus?
I'm doing really well. So I'm so curious. Tell me what's the story behind Presto? Like, how did we get to today?
Yeah. Well, uh, I guess to kind of set the scene, if you will, in how I ended up here is, I started with a love of technology early on, and the I would say the three things that kind of formed me into where I am today as a professional would be, faith and my love of technology and my military service. Those three things kind of mesh together into where we are today. Um, Faith is just a moral compass for me. It helps ground me, and that's where we emphasize a lot of integrity and transparency in our business. And it's so you can see how that could correlate depending on your experience with faith and all of that. And um, so my love of technology is a little bit more self-explanatory, being an IT professional. But it started off with my dad working overnights in a maintenance for like a die cast facility, and he was doing that because he was also going to school in the evening. Well, he was doing all this because the family farm had gone bankrupt in the 80s, and so he was trying to get into a different professional career. They were refreshing their computers, and he was told to chuck them in the dumpster. Now, this being the 90s, right? Data security wasn't a concern,
Uh,
waste, all of those
Up and
things,
down. I hear it
sustainability.
all.
Um, but he goes, "Hey, can I take one of these home? Like some of them were broken, whatever." And so they're like, "Yeah, no problem. We're not concerned at all." Uh, very different on how you should handle it today, but he brought it home and he goes, "Hey, if you can fix this, you can have it." So that's where the basis of my love of technology came from.
Hmm.
Um, and then my military service just continued to instill that integrity and leadership skills. Still use a lot of those skill sets today, and it also taught me about what I take for granted. Um, Being that seeing the face of absolute evil, I would say, just in how humans can be violent, um, really said or instilled in me that we should always strive to choose a better way if we can. Um,
And that's how we got here today.
yeah, so that's how we got here today.
You went from a bankrupt family business to a computer that came home, and the next thing you know, you're in the military, and now you have your own business. I think it's like so interesting and how powerful it is that we can turn something that happened to us, like a bad situation, I guess is what we could call it, and then trying to figure out how to turn it into like something good. And like also like kudos to, I believe you said it was your dad,
Mhm.
for bringing home that computer because now you're here and you're in the neighborhood. But for folks who haven't heard about you yet, how would you describe what you do and what Presto is?
Yeah, so that's a bit of an interesting question these days because we're actually a conglomeration of three businesses, and kind of three different focuses, if you will. So the first one is outsourced IT department. We're a managed service provider, if you've heard that term before, or MSP. That's called Presto Pro. I run the operations side on that day to day. And then we also have a cybersecurity consulting side that's called Guarded Cyber. And what I'm really excited about, though, is the launch of the Praesto network, which is not all that dissimilar to what you're doing, but very niche and focused on managed service providers. So it's my pet project, trying to elevate my own industry through best practices and solving a major pain point that we identified in the MSP space, and that's loneliness. Is like a lot of times the single operator businesses don't have anyone to talk to, um, and so providing a space where we're peers, maybe even competitors, but at the end of the day, uh, cybersecurity, IT services, it's a very broad space, and more and more businesses every day need it more and more. There's no lack of need. So I find that the industry overall is very collaborative, but excited to be a piece of that collaboration.
Yeah, I think that when you have that, kind of like speaks to like my inspiration with starting Haven, because like we have all these people who want to work together, who want to be connected and who want to like feel better. But like how do we bring them together in a way where it's equitable? Because I've been involved in various communities where um, I've just given things away for free, thinking that like this connection was going to grow, and I still haven't seen the benefit from what I have, shared with like other people. So, I'm excited to see your community and figure out how I can support it. I know that there's a lot of IT professionals out there. What makes your business stand out?
I think, um, I to touch on kind of my earlier point of like our commitment to integrity and transparency, but also simplicity. Um, IT is something that gets overly complicated very quickly, and also cyber. Cybersecurity is also something that is this big scary thing because the news scares the pants off you. But um, both are very approachable and manageable with the right partner, and um, I try to eliminate as much jargon as I can, but my brain still does speak native geek, so yeah, I'm not perfect, right?
Always hard being the translator. It's
Yeah.
always hard.
But I mean, I think also the Presto network that we're building is a big differentiator. It's like we're striving to be an example of the best in our industry. Um, doesn't mean we always hit it every single day, every moment, no, every interaction, no. But uh, if we can leave a net positive in the world, that's a success.
Okay, that's really good to hear. Um, Following up with that one, I'm curious, what's something people may not realize about your work until they work with you?
Um, Bit of an echo chamber here, but technology and cybersecurity don't have to be complicated. Um, a lot of it comes down to just defining what your needs are and defining what your risk is. And once you know those two things, um, you just start going through it like a checklist, and saying, okay, I'm okay with this risk, or I'm not okay with this risk. Maybe there's a monetary value associated, or maybe it's just a more, as an example, like a PR thing. Like if you were to get hit by ransomware as a business, maybe you don't have a ton of sensitive data, but the fallout would be um, kind of a PR nightmare, right? So it might be a risk worth mitigating. Anyways, that's a bit in the weeds. But I think the other thing is that small businesses are targeted by cyber attacks all the time. Something like 65% of cyber attacks are against small businesses. You have more valuable information even if you don't think so. And anytime you're transacting money, that has a value too. you know?
Okay, cool. What is a typical day in the life for you? Like, what does it look like to be like an IT person? And then like, what are your like busy seasons? Because I feel like technology
Mhm.
is just kind of like, always like happening. So like, are you just busy all the time?
I mean, sometimes it's the news cycle that drives that. Right? You know, if there's a bigger threat that comes down, you know, someone uncovered a new bug in Windows or whatever, you know, we might have to work a little bit extra to ensure that our clients are covered. Um, I would say that you know a typical day starts with me, you know, doing the email, reviewing any complex issues that get escalated my way, whether that's account management related or you know a really tough technical issue that one of my engineers needs help with. And then it's planning out, you know, client projects, that kind of thing. But lately, it's been a lot of branding work, which is right up your alley. You know, um,
What do you mean more branding work, like for your business or for
yeah.
other?
Well, so getting this network off the ground, like we're just trying to, you know, polish our public facing stuff and all of those things. And when you're trying to run three businesses, you know, you wear a lot of different hats, and so a typical day, I wish I could say I have a typical day, but from a busy season, I would say that people most often invest in IT. We find either beginning of the year or roundabout fall. Um, Sometimes there's a push like early summer, late spring, but um, fall is usually like everyone's coming off the summer vacation and they're looking at, okay, what do I get got to get done before the end of the year? And it's
I gotta
like,
go to the
oh,
cabin. I gotta spend time with the kids.
right.
Apple just came out with a new computer.
But then fall hits and you're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I was gonna get a new computer this year, or I was gonna, you know, redo my website or whatever, you know, like some sort of technology thing. Um, and whether we're involved in it directly or not, you know, often we're giving input. Um, So, yeah, those are kind of the seasons, the ebbs and flows. Muted.
What? Let's say that someone's like watching this interview, which please watch until the end, and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I love your vibe. You're really awesome. Where should they go first? Is there like a place that they can go to? Do we need to just contact you online?"
Yeah. Well, I try to haunt LinkedIn most of the time, and so I think that's probably the best place to reach out. And you know, if they I try to post regularly too. So if you like enjoy the vibe, right? uh, there's more on there, but then you know, if you want to meet up for coffee or either locally or virtually, just shoot me a message on there, and we can connect.
Cool. All right. We've talked a lot about the story behind Presto and you, but now it's time for the ultimate question. What is a song that perfectly describes your business vibe? It can be any song.
Yeah, I had to think about this one because thankfully you gave me the question ahead of time because um, you know, just going with the community vibe, you know, with a little help from my friends, the Beatles, you know, that's a good one.
Yes.
Um, no, but I think it just, you know, it celebrates community collaboration, and you know, our goal is to become a trusted ally for not only small businesses but also for other MSPs.
Well, I love how community and faith driven you are and like your story. But the one thing that I'm curious about, because we all know why I love it, but what is one thing you love about the local community that you serve?
I think what I love the most about it is that I get to interact with all different types of businesses and people from all walks of life. Uh, I just enjoy learning more about how other people choose to run their business, and it helps me not only get better as an entrepreneur, but also helps um, me understand how we can elevate their business from a technology standpoint.
Well, that's lovely. I think that we should all be inspired by your and my passion for, like bringing together people together. So I'm excited to see your community. Let me know if you need any help with that. For everyone who's watching, thank you so much. And thank you, Matthias, for coming up and talking about your business. And I guess I'll see you at the next connection.
Sounds good.